Arsenal fans, let me tell you something. Enjoy this. The celebration police will be out in force. Do not get nicked. Enjoy yourselves. Football's about moments, and this is a big moment. Enjoy it, and let's hope that in the finals and after the finals we have another massive moment. It's a great day. It's a great day.
Welcome back, everybody. Here we are. The boys are up at the big screen, which means analysis. What have we got?
Gyokeres, we talked about it. Yes, Jamie, we all know what Declan Rice can do, and yes, he was man of the match, but what Gyokeres is doing at the moment, the connection that they have with him, they make sure that this guy now, you can see, like I mentioned before, what he's good at and not what he's not good at. As you're going to see here, that reminded me something that we saw at the weekend. As you're going to see here, roll it. You're going to see Saliba is on the ball. Look at the little run. That's an old school run from a 9. Yes, make a run, see if you can go to goal. And if that defender didn't touch the ball, that would have been a 1v1. But he's aware there. He's not greedy. He's like, okay, I'm not going to force it. Yes, I cross it. We all know what's going to happen after. But if that connection didn't happen with him and Saliba, obviously that brought the goal of Bukayo Saka, that never happens. Let me bring you back, go on. Let me bring you back to the weekend. And straight away, it's the same thing. Hey, that's Fulham played. Straight away, look at Eze. Straight away, he looks. They've been working at it. Utilize the guy in what he likes to do. Play the ball into the channel. Old school movement. Play it. Roll it properly. Now, yes, of course he cannot score. Boom, he turns straight away. Can I feed someone? Can I feed someone? Clever run from Bukayo Saka. And then, again, Bukayo Saka scores.
Is that happening more because he's running more, or they've got more confidence in him?
I think it's a confidence thing. I think it's something that maybe Mikel Arteta is asking them to do earlier, because as soon as Eze got that ball, he just controlled it and he turned straight away to the 9. He didn't look at that line. He looked at the line of the 9, and that's something that they were not doing with Gyokeres. So therefore, you're not going to see how good the guy is and what he likes to do.
Just a question for Jamie. If you're playing centre half, who would you rather play against, Gyokeres or Havertz?
Oh, who would I rather play against? I'd probably rather play against Havertz. I'm just thinking of myself as an individual, because I think physically Gyokeres is probably a lot bigger and stronger than me in situations like that. But when I was actually looking at the run then, and this is something I'm not a coach, the only person that coaches me, son, but he plays my position. And as soon as you let a striker get in here...
Between the two, yeah.
So if you always have to be goal side. So as soon as the striker gets this side of you, you're finished. It's over.
Yeah.
You know. So as soon as that happens now, stop now. Now, for instance, when I was playing, nearly every striker I played against was quicker than me.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why they play strikers. They're quick. So you've always got to be there. You've always got to be that side. It's like a discipline. You never let the striker get there.
But why would you say you've always got to be that side? We got taught as kids, we always go ball side as a defender. But what's the reason you go ball side as a defender?
Well, you'll get there first. And also, if let's say, for instance, you're Gyokeres and I'm the defender, as soon as that ball goes there, you're going to beat me to it. But if I'm here, and the ball gets played, yes, I might get there, but don't forget you're quicker than me. Me, as that ball's getting played, I'm already doing that. I used to always do that. I can read where the ball's going to go, and as soon as it happens, I'm doing that one. So I'm stopping you starting your run and almost giving myself a head start.
Understood.
Yeah.
And then we're going to talk about what Gyokeres is very good at. And we talked about Brian Brobby for Sunderland. Play the man before you play the ball. So defenders always look at the ball and look at what Gyokeres does. He goes to the man straight away. Boom. Body in. Then he lays it off. Always, because defenders are looking at the ball. They don't expect you to come. Look, he's looking. Boom, player, first. Then I secure the ball. Foul. You know how vital is that, guys? You know that when you're suffering in the game. Look at that ball. Boom. Straight away. It's something that they worked on, and he put his body in between the ball and the man. And then look at this one. Look at the run that he's going to make. He's asking for the ball, but it's interesting. Stay with the run. They didn't play him. That could have been the same thing again. But look at the fans. They're telling Declan Rice why you didn't pass the ball. Look at the reaction of Declan Rice. Declan Rice is going to tell the fans, relax. Hey, relax. Okay, this time they're going to play it to him. Ball's going to go on the side, and they fed him. But you know, that's not an easy finish. You have to put your leg above and try to guide it down. But then he was everywhere. He was running. Yes, the finish is not great. We all know about it. Same again. Body in, rotate your defender almost like a center in basketball. Look at that run. Look at the generosity. Look at this. Those are the things that people sometimes will not mention as a striker because he didn't score and whatnot.
Can I ask you a question? If you could advise him to do one thing to make him into a top player, what would that be? You've showed the runs in behind. What more does he need to add to his game?
It's just like, you know, you need to know what you're good at, first and foremost. And I think what was very important, more important than anything, they needed to adapt to him. It's not so much, he won't be the type of striker that's going to do wonder things for you. He's not R9. I'm not having a go. Not a lot of people were R9, in all fairness. But I'm just saying, you need to adapt to him. He will make the generous run. But if you don't play that ball, what else can you do? Yeah. If you don't go on the outside to feed him, what else can he do? And Harry Kane is not going to come in midfield and start to roll the ball and ping in on the left, ping in on the right. He's not going to do that. So it's not so much sometimes what the guys can do is what you can do to enhance his game. And I think the Arsenal team now is doing that. They are enhancing his game. You can see what he's good at. I'm repeating the same thing, I know, but that's sometimes what's missing.
Absolutely fantastic. Jamie, do you want to take us to a break?
We're going to go to a break and then we're going to come back and we're going to give you even more of this top analysis and chat about Arsenal being in the Champions League
Don't
final.
go anywhere. Don't go anywhere.
Time in Arsenal's history and the first time in 20 years they have reached a Champions League final. Bukayo Saka scored the only goal as they beat Atletico Madrid 1-0 at the Emirates, 2-1 on aggregate. I was expecting you to come in with flowers this morning.
Yeah.
Are you going to give Arsenal and Mikel Arteta their flowers live on FC?
No, look, fair play to them. You know, they've done a good job. They've got themselves to the final, undefeated in the Champions League this season, only conceded 6 goals. You know, they've done a stellar job. They've got themselves there, and you know, you have to give credit where it's due. They got a favourable run, but that's because they finished top of the group, so they deserved it. So well done. They've done nothing yet, like nothing. And people keep saying it's a big night in Arsenal's history. What are you on about? That means like you won the semi-final. When they win the final, and if they win the Premier League and they do the double, then we can talk about our amazing season and what a history-maker season that is. Right now, they're in the final.
You
well
said they've done nothing. They can only do what is put in front of them, and they've done that, right?
I know.
So let's have a look at their run, because I know there's a lot of chat about this on social media, on the radio, maybe on the radio with you last night, about the run and the route that they've had. Look, they finished top of their group, their group, the ultimate group. Right? That's what it is now. And as you said there, they conceded 6 goals in 14 games. They've kept 9 clean sheets. They've played Bayern Munich. That could be the final. They disposed them. 3-1. Harry Kane in the team, Elise in the team.
Who have they played?
Inter Milan.
Who have they played?
Bayern Munich.
Yeah, they played Bayern Munich, right?
Atletico Madrid have been to the final.
Atletico Madrid were terrible last night. They were terrible.
Beat them twice, drew one against them.
They were terrible. Let's not get away from it. Semi-final, they were terrible.
And they beat them.
I know, but they were terrible. And Arsenal can do that. They can make you look terrible. They're a better team than Atletico Madrid.
Kairat Almaty.
But if you look at that, and this is like, I'm giving Arsenal credit. Like they beat Inter Milan, and they beat Bayern Munich. Every other team on that list, I expect them to beat.
But they've not had to play anyone else.
Yeah, I know. But that's fair play to them. They've had a favourable draw because they won the group. I mean, look, they played Athletic Club, Olympiacos. You know, Atletico Madrid, they've played them 3 times. Slavia Prague. I mean, come on, Club Brugge, Kairat. You know, look, they've had a favourable run and fair play.
Kept 9 clean sheets in the Champions League.
Yeah, and they've conceded 6 goals. But look at the teams they're playing. Bayer Leverkusen are not good enough. Sporting were never good enough.
But look,
Atletico Madrid are not as good as them.
Jamie, Mikel Arteta has been made to be a joke figure. This man behind you here. I mean, I think he deserves to be reacting like this, OK? So this is a guy that only a matter of weeks ago, even some Arsenal fans, some, not all Arsenal fans, would have moved on from him next season, right? He's now on the home straight of a Premier League title race. He's into a Champions League final. Yeah? You're smiling already here.
I've just seen the tweet, the message just coming. Couldn't have got a better person on the show this morning. Oh, dear.
Look, hold on. If he pulls this off, if he pulls this double off, this is a statue.
No, come on, calm down. Like,
Well, it is. Wenger didn't win the Champions League.
No, calm down.
Hold on. So you don't think that's a statue of Mikel Arteta outside the
statue?
Yeah, if he wins the Champions League in the Premier League double.
Come on, mate.
You don't think that's a statue?
No. Listen, he's done a great job. And if they
would he be Arsenal's greatest ever manager?
No, Arsene Wenger's their greatest ever manager
because he won the Invincibles. But this guy's done it. They've not done it for 20
he's done
years.
it over a long period
James.
of time. He's been a manager for 5 years. Come on, he's been a manager for 5 years. They've won the FA Cup. They spent a lot of money. Spent £100 million on Declan Rice. They've got a really good team, and he's built a great side. And this was the season. Everyone said it. This is the season that they have to do it. They've built it, and it looks like they're going to get definitely the Premier League over the line because Man City slipped up. And the Champions League, we'll see. Look, it's a one-off game. Do I think they'll win the final? No. But, they've done well to get there. But, you're only remembered in history books if you win the final.
But what about this guy himself? So we're talking
done a great job.
No, but potentially getting the sack.
I've never said that.
To potentially being poached, Jamie. If he wins these, there might be other clubs looking to poach him away from Arsenal.
Arteta's done a great job at Arsenal. He's built a fantastic team. They've given the reins. Any Arsenal fan who's saying that they should have been talking about sacking him at the end of the season if they didn't win, I've never said that. I would never say. I think he's done a brilliant job. He's built that club back to where they're competing amongst the elite every single season. So, credit where it's due. He's done a great job. He has to get it over the line, and he is almost there. They're not there yet, but they are almost there.
Yeah.
And if he does, fair play to him because they got to beat two of the best teams in Europe, in my opinion, and PSG and Bayern Munich. One of them they're going to have to face.
Let's head live, shall we, to the Emirates now and join our reporter, Paul Gilmore. Paul, good morning to you, my friend. Paul, have you got the police tape out there? Because that is the scene of the crime, Jamie says, where they've had too much fun. They've got too carried away. But come on, Gilly, that was it the greatest night ever at the Emirates?
What?
Well, what, you never bet a night at the Emirates.
I think...
Hold on, Gilly. Hold on.
Sorry.
Hold on. I'm going to jump in there. Sorry, Gilly.
You cannot say...
Name a better night at the Emirates.
You can't say it's the best night at the Emirates ever.
Name a better night at the Emirates.
Oh, come on, mate.
Gilly, sorry about him. Over to you.
Joe, I think if you asked any Arsenal fan who was there last night, I think they would say that. They haven't had much to cheer about over the last 20 years. This is a generation of Arsenal fans we're talking about that have not experienced some of the highs of that invincible season and previous competition wins and league wins, and clearly, not even that buzz of getting to a Champions League final. I know they lost against Barcelona 20 years ago, but this was a generation of Arsenal fans inside here, and the players and Mikel Arteta have spoken about it since after the game last night, just what it was like coming to the stadium. Just behind me here last night, this was packed with thousands of people. They greeted the team bus on its arrival. It was a wonderful atmosphere. It was replicated in terms of some of the other, big European semi-finals that you see at other clubs. And this is something that Mikel Arteta has dreamed of with, the connection between the team, the supporters. This is something that he has wanted for a long, long time. They have made moves towards this in the last few years to try and build and enhance that connection with the crowd. And this would have been a night that he completely dreamed of when everyone came together as one. Yes, they've still got work to do. Yes, they've still got to go on and win the league. They've still got to go on and win the Champions League. But this did feel like it was... it wasn't that long ago Arsenal were considered a soft touch getting to this stage of the season and falling apart. And it feels like they've finally conquered that. But yeah, we stress, still some work to do, of course.
Paul, someone else who's had plenty of stick this season is Victor Gyokeres, right? Last time I checked, he's got 25 goals, 21 for Arsenal, 4 for Sweden. He's going to a World Cup with Graham Potter. He's coming into form at just the right time and getting plenty of praise after last night. I can feel something happening to the left of me with Jamie. We'll get his view later, though, Paul.
Yeah, Mikel Arteta was full of praise for the Swedish striker after that game. He labelled his performance immense. This is what Mikel Arteta said about Gyokeres' performance against Atletico Madrid. He said he was immense. You can see the reaction from the crowd every time he had the ball. His work rate and what he's giving the team is just incredible. And while you look at that chance that he missed, and you can't help but feel a Harry Kane or a Ousmane Dembele would have scored that. Yes, of course. Maybe that's an area that still needs to be worked on at that level, really, to make things easier on Arsenal and kill the game at that point. But in terms of his overall play and occupying defenders, his work rate, some of the qualities that Arteta alluded to there, they are really happy with him and how he's progressing. And there were some really good individual performances last night. Trossard was excellent. Bukayo Saka is just getting back to some momentum and flow after his injury at the right time in this season. And then you look at defensively their performance, not just collectively but individually. Gabriel, that moment where he saved the goal really in the first half from Simeone. Defensively, not many teams will enjoy going up against Arsenal from that side, and that's why it's quite fascinating in this final, whether it's Bayern or whether it's PSG. You look at the front three of both of those clubs, and whichever team they play, that'll be a really interesting match-up in the final in Budapest. But for Gyokeres, he was the one that was really picked out by his teammates, by his manager, and I actually would be really interested to hear Jimmy's thoughts. Jimmy, I don't know if you think he's proved a few of the doubters wrong last night after that performance.
I think last few games has been fantastic. He really was. Fulham, I thought he was brilliant. And then, last night, his hold-up play, his the way he run the channels. Yeah, I mean, I thought he'd done really well. When you talk about the chance he missed, yeah, I know it was a good chance, big chance. Dembele misses loads of chances, but he keeps getting himself in there. And I think fair play to Gyokeres. He's had a tough season, people have dug him out, but, he is starting to prove people wrong with some of the performances that he's put in. Still got some big ones to go, but fair play to him last night.
I wasn't expecting that, Gilly. I wasn't expecting that answer from Jamie. Paul, thank you very much, mate. There we go, Paul Gilmer outside the Emirates. Gyokeres, OK, we'll put that one to bed.
Yeah.
But Bukayo Saka, back in the Arsenal team.
Yeah.
This is good for England as well, isn't it? Playing like that?
Yeah, absolutely. He was brilliant against Fulham, and then played well last night. He wasn't. Look, he poked himself a goal, and fair play to him. He's had a tough season, actually, Bukayo Saka, in terms of the fact that where Arsenal are, he hasn't been at his best at all. Maybe tired legs, run out of steam a little bit, and, fresh. He looked a bit fresher last few games. So, look, they've still got loads to go. They've still got, four? They've got 4 massive games, 4 cup finals.
But look what this would mean to someone, you know it from when Spurs got to that Champions League final in 19, and the guys that have been there at that club a long time, like Bukayo Saka has at Arsenal. I mean, I remember being there for his debut. Arteta gave him his debut, and he was, he was playing left back, wasn't he? And look how much he's evolved at that football club into now a Champions League final.
Well, he's a £200 million player.
He's £200 million.
Well, he is, isn't he? When you think about his age and what he's done and how good he is, that
would make him the most expensive player in the world.
Well, he's priceless. Bukayo Saka is priceless. He's a fantastic footballer, and you get your best out of him. He works hard for the team. He tracks back, scores goals, gets assists. He's a leader. He's a fantastic individual. He's a top player, and people have dug him out this season. And some of his, you want to see him do better in some of his performances, but he works hard for the team. He has a role in that side. Both wingers, both sides have a role. So he's done a brilliant job, Arteta, and he's got last night. Bukayo Saka comes back into the side, looks a bit fresher, gets himself a goal. Fair play to him.
Can you see that same evolution with someone like Miles Lewis-Skelly, who again has played fullback under Mikel Arteta? Yeah. What did you make of him in midfield?
Played well last night. Rice?
We'll talk about him and potentially going on the plane with England later on Fan Club, but from an Arsenal point of view, him in midfield, bearing in mind Zubimendi was on the bench.
Yeah, I was surprised actually in such a big game that he picked Miles Lewis-Skelly, Zubimendi on him. Maybe he thought Zubimendi had run out of legs a little bit, but Miles Lewis-Skelly I thought done really well. Come into the team, he looked comfortable. He's a talented football player. He really is. He's kind of fell down the pecking order a little bit at Arsenal, especially in that left-back role with the players that he's chose to play there in front of him. But look, he come back in. He's obviously a useful member of the squad, and I thought he'd done really well. I thought Declan Rice was outrageously good, but Miles Lewis-Skelly had a really good game.
You've got to give it to them, Jamie, after the defeat at the Etihad Stadium.
Yeah.
Where, to be fair, they didn't look deflated. I was at the game and Arteta was still shaking everyone and high-fiving everyone, and he actually left with his chest pumped out, but that surprised me. But look how they've reacted from that point, and how this will now transition into and has already transitioned into their title race momentum. Yeah, because, Arteta obviously looked at it was still a long way to go, right? It wasn't over. We all saw the thing that Declan Rice saying it's not over yet, and he was right. Man City had some really tough games. They slipped up, and their mentality this season, Arsenal, is to keep going. And, they've allowed Man City in to get themselves back in it, but they've kept going. And the last few weeks, I've seen a different Arsenal. Before, there was a nervousness about them. I felt like they were struggling to create chances. But Fulham and Atletico Madrid last night, you can't get away from the fact they've been absolutely brilliant. So, that is you say turn a page and get going again.
They have done.
I can see down here, just let you into a little secret. Jamie's got his truncheon and his handcuffs, and he's been out. He's been out last night, not in that way. Out last night in North London, making some arrests. Part of the celebration police, of course, and your old friend Wayne Rooney as well. What do you make of this? Let's have a look at what Wayne Rooney said in terms of the over-celebrate, because Arsenal get a lot of this dished out to them, and Rooney gone very strong. Look, the celebrations are a bit much. Exactly what you said. That could be an O'Hara quote, couldn't it? They've not won it yet. And Ian Wright, this is his reaction to Arsenal over-celebrating.
Arsenal fans, let me tell you something. Enjoy this. The celebration police will be out in force. Do not get nicked. Enjoy yourselves. Football's about moments, and this is a big moment. Enjoy it, and let's hope that in the finals and after the finals we have another massive moment. It's a great day. It's a great day.
How many arrests did you make last night?
Plenty. I was out there. I was looking. There's plenty of them knocking around London Bridge Station. Let me tell you, when I finished work last night, Arsenal fans everywhere. I was trying to, I had to put my hoodie over my face. But yeah, look, enjoy the moment. It is. Look, football's about moments. I remember when Spurs got there. I was actually here doing this show. I went mad, and it's an incredible moment. You got yourselves to the final. There was a lot of celebrating. Like the pyrotechnics they had at the Emirates, the fireworks going off. I was expecting them to bring out the Champions League final trophy then. Like, calm down. You ain't won it yet. You got to play one of the best teams.
Did you not celebrate like that when you got to a League Cup final?
Yeah, but you got to win it. You've got to win it.
But enjoy the journey,
No,
Jamie.
enjoy
Life's
the
not
journey.
about a destination. Enjoy it.
And you say, don't celebrate. Of course, celebrate. It's a great night for Arsenal, and fair play to them. And you got to enjoy it, and the fans are going to enjoy it. But calm down. Right? I remember PSG, Bayern Munich. Do you remember? And Bayern Munich got to the final, and I'll never forget the pictures of the team who just casually, job done, semi-final won, no celebrating. They knew there was business to be done, and they were just chilled out. PSG were celebrating like they'd won it. But what happened in the final? Bayern Munich win.
I know, but come on, 20 years is a long time. I mean, I'd struggle to remember that game that Lehmann got sent off and Sol Campbell scored in 2006.
I don't forget it.
Well, yeah, you don't want to remember it.
Well, they lost.
Them getting to the final.
Oh, well, yeah, but...
You like it because they lost the game, I get that.
Yeah, but, no one remembers a semi-final. It's all about the final.
Yeah.
If you win the final,
you've just said it
celebrate,
Ajax,
open
that
top...
game, you still talk about it.
Yeah, because we lost the final.
That's Ajax, by the way.
Yeah,
well.
but no one remembers...
you said about getting there. This was Ajax. That was basically a team that got reassembled as Manchester United.
Oh, Will, come on, mate. You're just
no, but they were
trying to... why are you trying to dig out Spurs?
No, but come on. No, it's nothing to do with Spurs. You talk about getting there, right,
yeah.
and the route. That was Ajax.
Yeah.
I mean, Ajax would finish in the bottom 5 of the Premier League.
But they were a good side then. Come on. It was... Listen, it was an incredible moment, and you celebrate it. I'm not saying don't celebrate it.
Yeah.
That's what football's about. Enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
But you have to go and win it.
Yeah.
Get it done, win it, and then celebrate for forever. Something historical.
Be careful.
Yeah.
Be careful out there in North London.
I'm not. By the way, that I've not made that. That's yous have made that. I'm not.
You should have
celebrate it, enjoy it. It was a bit over the top. But, go out there and enjoy yourselves, for sure.
You should have seen the one we were going to use, which we were told we weren't allowed to. So
enjoy the moment. It's a great moment. They ain't won nothing yet.
There we go. We're going to be speaking to an Arsenal fan in just a sec. To Arsenal fan Christian Tai, who is in celebration custody this morning. Thanks for allowing the police to put you on Zoom for us, Christian. He's come on to tie Jamie in knots, as you always do. We'll start with that.
But go on.
We'll start with that. Christian, was it the greatest night at the Emirates?
Yeah, I think it was. And it sounds like a big statement, but we haven't had that many great nights. That's just the reality. We've never been to a Champions League final. We've never won a Premier League at the Emirates. I think it's the greatest night. I think the greatest day for me was the Reece Nelson winner against Bournemouth, because I truly believed we were going to go on and win the Premier League trophy that season. Obviously we didn't, but that was the belief within the fan base. We were going to win the Premier League. I think last night was the belief that we can win the Champions League. We've had some great nights in the Champions League. You think of Barcelona. There have been some other great nights, but no night where we're actually we could actually do this. We are now 90 minutes away from lifting that trophy. So yeah, last night
Christian,
was
by the way,
because
I know the beef that you did have with Jamie a couple of weeks ago was about the Emirates and was about the atmosphere and was about the lack of energy in that place. That place, no matter who you support, was absolutely electric last night. It was. You could feel that on the TV.
I must have listened to me.
Yeah, look, I was in the stadium. I was there for Fulham. Fulham was absolutely incredible. And last night was another level. I didn't know it could go up from Fulham. Look, Jamie's there to do his thing. He's always doing the rage baiting and that. But, you know, Arsenal fans know what the Emirates can be. Arsenal fans know that when the team give us the energy, we give them the energy. It has to work both ways. You know, it can't just be the fans trying to. It has to be sometimes. But when the team doesn't perform for the first 20 minutes and the stadium gets a bit flat and David Raya's got his foot on the ball, you can drain the energy out of the stadium sometimes. But what they've shown recently, you guys touched on it, since that Manchester City game, just the ability to bounce back, to go and win those 3 games in a row. All right, Newcastle was a bit more flat, but we got the 3 points. Fulham was electric, 3 goals, 3 points, and then last night reaching a Champions League final. And now, look, Man City dropping points as well, I think it gave us an extra edge. The extra little bit of energy of, all right, it's in our hands again. You know, Champions League final now, 90 minutes away from winning that. 3 games away from winning a Premier League trophy, first time in 22 years. And maybe the statement sounds big of greatest night in Arsenal's history. But again, the reality is we haven't had these nights at the Emirates. The last time we were in a Champions League final was May 2006. We moved to the Emirates 2 months later. We haven't had a night like this at the Emirates. That is the reality of it. And last night, it was a privilege to be in that stadium. It was absolutely beautiful, celebrating afterwards. Look, you guys got me up early. I should still be in bed now for how fragile I am this morning. The amount of energy,
also, Christian,
emotion, but it was incredible.
This is the longest I've heard Jamie O'Hara silenced on Fan Club since this.
He hasn't got anything to say, really.
Well, no, fair play to us. I mean, like,
they're probably going to be safe now, but, you know.
Fair play to us. You've done well. You've got to the final. You've got to play PSG or Bayern Munich. You know, that's the big game. Who would you rather play?
I don't think it's for me to say rather. In terms of style, I think Bayern Munich. I think PSG are just relentless in attack. I think their midfield is incredible. Whereas Bayern, I feel like we can win the midfield battle. We've won it already. I think at the Emirates, we were a far better team when we beat them 3-1 this season. And defensively, I think they're a bit more shaky than PSG. But they're both top teams. The only thing about Bayern, I cannot have Harry Kane winning a Champions League on our heads. I just cannot have that.
Well, you beat them 3-1, Christian. You battered them at the Emirates.
Different team now. Different.
Well, they were unbeaten in all competitions. They were unbeaten in all competitions when they came to the Emirates this season. But look, they're both great teams. I don't know. I saw Saka did an interview yesterday, and they asked him the same question.
Yeah.
And he said he can't give the answer. But
who do you think it was?
Deep down,
who was he talking about? PSG,
I don't know. Maybe PSG because of the way they knocked us out last year. But I thought we played well last year over 2 legs against PSG. In terms of XG, I think we had like a 5.1 XG over 2 legs. XG doesn't get you to finals, doesn't win you trophies, but we performed well. You know, we had Gabriel out, we had Mikel Merino up front. Now, hopefully, we go into that with a fresher, fitter team. Hopefully, with the Premier League trophy and that confidence behind us as well. Hopefully we can go and win it.
Christian, just quickly, because I was expecting Jamie to bite on everything you were saying there, and he hasn't. He sat there and he's taking his medicine, which is absolutely brilliant. But he did bite at me, sort of suggesting that if Mikel Arteta does do this and win a double, that he would be your greatest ever manager. There would be a statue of him outside the stadium. He said that was absolute nonsense. Where do you stand with that? Because we know Jamie's going to be wearing an Arsenal shirt this weekend because he wants, obviously, Arsenal to beat West Ham so Spurs stay in the Premier League.
Of course. Yeah, I don't know about statue talk just yet, but if he does the Champions League, Premier League double in his 7th season, not just as Arsenal manager, just as a manager, it's an absolutely incredible achievement. I think he deserves credit for where he's brought the team to, but he needs to get over the line. We need to get over the line. We're 4 games from glory now, 1 in the Champs, 3 in the Prem, and then we can have those conversations. So Jamie is right in a way of we've done great work, but we still have to get over the line. Let's not get too excited yet. Let's enjoy it, of course. Last night was brilliant.
Not too
I'll
much.
Never forget that.
Not too much. Remember.
There is some truth in not enjoying it too much. There is still work to be done. But look, we're Arsenal fans, man. Like I said, we haven't had moments like this. So let's enjoy it while we can, obviously. Yeah. And let's get over the line.
Christian does what his name suggests, ties people up in knots. And there we go, a 12-round knockout for Christian Ty over Jamie O'Hara. Speak soon, Christian. Up next.